Well, John, for the folks out there that don't know you and your background, why don't you take just a second and tell them, just a little bit about you and what attracted you to this in the first place, and why you're out there putting folks on the map, capturing market share, and doing what you're doing.
Well, I was raised on a family farm in the United Kingdom and went most of my schooling in the United Kingdom. And in the military, I served in the Royal Guard as a pilot, a parachutist, and as a communications specialist. And had we used to do the ceremonial duties in London. You've always seen these people with furry hats walking around in London. I suppose the highlight of my career in that respect was I was in charge of the pallbearers for Sir Winston Churchill's state funeral. Then I went to business school, and I came to America to go to Harvard, worked on Wall Street with Morgan Stanley, and then went back to Britain to become a member of Parliament and had the great privilege of soldiering under one of the greatest leaders of the century, Margaret Thatcher, who in league with President Reagan, who I had a meeting 3 times, really did an amazing amount for the world. And Margaret Thatcher put me in charge of Mr. Gorbachev when he came on his first visit to the West. And I just, by some osmosis, picked up that I thought he was going to be made the next leader of the Soviet Union. Nobody believed it except the 2 briefings I gave to Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan. They were the only 2 who believed me. And 3 months later, he was the leader of the Soviet Union. And we saw with those 3 people the ending of the cold phase of the Second World War and the enormous peace that we enjoyed afterwards. Then I fell out with my party in Parliament over the European Union and lost my seat and was invited back by Morgan Stanley into the United States. So I came back, and I've since been writing about all these things. I now write about politics, economics, and finance, and so my time is pretty much my own. And when this idea was first put to me by George Kay, I warmed to it, and I went to Las Vegas to what I effectively call the American launch jamboree, really, and I was very excited by it there. I met Bill Resides over there, whose silken voice I'd already heard, like Jerry Bird. They've both got voices that are just so persuasive. I met him over there, and so I upgraded to VIP, and with their help, I've built a little team.
Well, listen, John, what I want to really come across is, with your background and with now you write and not only write but teach with finance, tell the folks out there, just in a few words, what do you see Flexcom doing for finance? What do you see it doing for the economy of small business?
Well, one thing I forgot to say, one of the committees I was on the Treasury Select Committee in Parliament, but I was also the elected chairman of the Smaller Businesses Committee. And even in those days, Margaret Thatcher was doing away with regulations and reducing some of the heinous taxes. She reduced the top rate of tax in Britain from 92% to 40% overnight. She got rid of foreign exchange controls, which were £250 a year you were allowed to take out of England, to zero. You're just completely free of foreign exchange controls. And these were major, major things that Margaret Thatcher achieved. On telephones, we had to rent our telephone for a third of its value a year. Margaret Thatcher made it a completely free market where you could buy your own telephones, import American, Japanese, Chinese telephones, and freed all these markets, and huge growth took off. And what I'm seeing, when I left Britain to escape the European Union, it was like coming out of the frying pan into the fire, because now I've got a president who's intent on doing the reverse of Margaret Thatcher by increasing regulations by about 40,000 regulations a year, increasing taxation, and it is just killing small business. And I see Flexcom as a marvelous thing in 2 major ways, in my view. One is for small businesses, and that is to not only retain clients by the loyalty program, but to increase the number of clients they have through the spreading of the app, but also to earn off their clientele once they're outside their shop. This is an amazing breakthrough. and I think it's going to be a huge success. And as George Case says, the app that pays is the app that stays, and I think that's going to be proven very correct with Flexcom. And the other thing I think with Flexcom is that the program that's going to allow, for example, service people within a company, within a small business, within a small restaurant, to allow the table waiters and things like that to share in this whole wonderful experience by when they recruit people, customers, on behalf of the shop into the shop's Flexcom system, they will get a 10% commission as well. I think it's absolutely tremendous in its forward thinking and the way it's being launched. I think it's wonderful, and I think it's going to be a great bonus to small businesses. And I speak quite a bit to small business organizations, both locally and around in various places, including in London. And I do a fair bit of television as well, interviews on CNBC and Fox Business and things. So I see this, and I see other people speaking on these programs with me, and one feels the crushing of small business. And I think Flexcom is going to be the way, one of the great ways out of it. And that's also to mention the future of the Flex coin, or whatever it's going to be in the future. And you see the past history of Bitcoin, which has been the Langlaufer, the Vorläufer, cutting the snow trail in front of us. I think that's going to lead to a wonderful existence for Flex coin, which will be far better run. And if it's related to gold, which I hear rumor that it might be, I think it's going to take off possibly as the first privately organized currency system in the world on an international basis. I think it's very, very exciting.